What's up, everybody? I'm Pastor Ben, and today we're going to talk about how God created all of this. I mean, look at it. It's beautiful. To jump into today, we're going to take a look at two stories from Genesis. They're the two stories of creation, and they give us a different picture of how God created this world and the universe. But it also gives us two different images of who God is when God creates. We're going to jump in and take a look at what that means for us today. So if you have a Bible, go ahead and grab it, and you can join me in Genesis chapter 1. We'll be jumping around a little bit, but we'll start at the very beginning. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep, while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. Then God said, "Let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the wild animals of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." So God created humankind in his image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them. God saw everything that he made, and indeed, it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. So then we get a second account of creation in chapter 2. So let's take a read of that and see what sounds different, what is different about chapter 2. We're going to start halfway through verse 4. In the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens, when no plant of the field was yet in the earth, and no herb of the field had yet sprung up, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was no one to till the ground, but a stream would rise from the earth and water the whole face of the ground. Then the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. And the Lord God planted a garden in Eden in the east, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Then the Lord God said, "It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helper as his partner." So out of the ground the Lord formed every animal of the field and every bird of the air, and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called every living creature, that was its name. The man gave names to all cattle, and to the birds of the air, and to every animal of the field. But for the man there was not found a helper as his partner. So the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and he slept. Then he took one of his ribs, and closed up its place with flesh. And the rib that the Lord God had taken from the man, he made into a woman, and brought her to the man. Then the man said, "This at last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one shall be called woman, for out of man this one was taken." So take a moment and think about, maybe take some notes and write down, what did you notice that was different between the two? So every time I hear those words in Genesis, that we are created in God's image, I'm reminded of that creative spark that we all have. Each and every one of us has the capacity, has the ability to be creative at some level. Now, sure, we're not all going to be the greatest artists. I cannot draw to save my life, but it's something that I enjoy doing every now and then because it's a creative thing. And so this week, this is my challenge to you, which will also be our prayer practice. I want you to do something creative. I want you to make something. I want you to create something. I want you to push yourself outside of your comfort zone a little bit. Maybe you were like me when I was a kid. I had very much an engineer's mind, and I didn't consider myself very artistic at all. And so the thing that I loved playing with more than anything were these Legos right here. Yes, these are the actual Legos that I played with as a kid. And opening up this box again, I realized how creative I actually was. One of my favorite things to do was to build these little space vehicle ship things. And so this week, I want you to create something. Maybe you have some Legos at home and want to build something out of Legos, and you can share it with us next week. Maybe you are a baker and really like cooking things, and you want to create a meal. Maybe you are an artist and love to draw or paint or sculpt. Maybe you have some clay at home or some Play-Doh and you want to make a little sculpture, whatever it might be. Perhaps you're really talented with language and want to write a story or a poem. Perhaps you're a musician and you want to write a piece of music. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to be anything good. The point is to create something and see how it feels to be creative. Now, I know for some of us, it might push us outside of our comfort zone, and that's okay. That's a good thing to be challenged. So, what will you do to be creative this week?